So today we're finishing Charlie Brooker's Weekly Wipe. Originally I wasn't going to do this today, but I realized today is your guys' election, and this show has synced up with the current political climate pretty well, so seems like the perfect thing for today. As I mentioned in the last one, the reason I'm watching this as opposed to the last two recap shows, which I didn't do, is apparently this has some new stuff in it as well. And isn't just a recap.
Hello, I'm Charlie Brooker, and you're watching Weekly Wipe, which this week takes a look back at things that were happening while also including lots of new things you haven't seen before.
There you go.
But I'll shut up because it's about to start. Now.
Now.
In TV, Sunday night is big drama night. People like to watch drama on a Sunday night because they're all fucked out after a hard day going around B&Q or MFI or one of those big boots you get. Anyway, at the moment, there's these two big Sunday dramas going head to head. One of them's called The Casual Vacancy. It's like Midsummer Murders without the murders, or an Archers You Can See.
The other big drama was this sort of foreign film one. It was like this Ann Summers programme all about these sort of Downton Abbey people on holiday in India.
It was like a cowboy film, but the Indians were like Britain Indians, not cowboy film Indians. And the cowboys were all dressed like Fred Astaire. So it was like a posh cowboy film, even when there was a shootout.
Oh.
Usually in Indian films, it's all normal. And then they suddenly do all singing with the sound levels turned too high, so it goes distorted and dancing around like they've gone mental. But in this, that bit never happened.
It was really orange. Like, I think someone had spilled orange on the tapes after they filmed it. And it had all plants and trees everywhere.
It's like Breaking Bad in Mexico.
Garden or a flower show, or a really big salad with people living in it.
All the British people are doing something called a Raj, which is bossy and racist, and the Indians don't like it.
We demand full independence!
Probably because it's being done in their country. They probably wouldn't mind if the British people stayed in Britain and did a Raj there. Basically, a Raj is one of those things you should do in your own home, not in someone else's. Like a hangover shit.
It looked really hot, which is probably why it was sort of slow and woozy. Like, sometimes the actors fell asleep and couldn't be asked getting up even though the scene was on.
Mr. Army Sahib. Wakey, wakey.
It's not doing it.
It made India look amazing. I've always wanted to go, and this was like going there without being asked, which is clever. Anyway, both these programmes are on Sunday night. I've got them on Series Link. I don't watch TV on a Sunday night because I go to bed early, and not my own either, because I'm in a loving relationship with someone who respects me for who I am.
Good for you.
I've never been so happy. Thanks for asking.
Nice. Happy for you, brother.
Entertainment and
Oh,
cinema
crap, not
box
again.
office records are thrashed by erotic beat-em-up 50 Shades of Grey. Cinemas across the globe flung their hot red doors open for this movie adaptation of one of the finest works of literature of our age. As the finely crafted trailer makes clear, it's a love story in which innocent young Anastasia Steele shacks up with sadomasochistic dreamboat Christian Grey. He's a sort of Lego Colin Firth who initially seems like any other besooted pisshat, but it transpires he has predilections, as becomes apparent when he pops up in Anna Steele's DIY store, in what closely resembles a Two Ronnies tribute.
Do you stack cable ties?
No, but we've got 4 candles. In fact, Grey has a secret red room filled with objects you can either smack someone with or push up your arse, which describes absolutely any room, come to think of it.
True.
Naturally, the film's imminent release didn't go unnoticed by Housewives' favourite and brunchtime BuzzFeed simulator This Morning, which used it as an excuse to do a cheerful item on specialist f***ing equipment.
Good morning. On the show today, we open the bedroom door and unlock the secrets between the sheets with a lowdown on a range of toys that you might not normally admit to owning.
Well, I for one love my Pippo Schofield collection, and I don't care who knows it.
You should care.
A bunch of adult fun products were examined in detail and demonstrated live on air in a kind of QVC BDSM OMFG.
Now, this is USB rechargeable, so it's brilliant because you don't need to worry about replacing the batteries.
Yeah, but on the downside, you do have to worry about getting tubes in your USB socket.
True.
The pervy gizmos ran the full gamut, from vanilla old eye masks to, for God's sake, pull this thing out of me. There were also hot amateur reviews from actual readers' wives.
I rate these 6 out of 10. If you like pain, you'll love these, but they are painful.
And there were handy hints, like the importance of safe words.
It's very, very important that both partners are fully into it and that you settle on a safe word. So if it ever gets a bit too much or you decide you don't like it, say your safe word and you both know that means stop.
It's funny, really, because the word stop doesn't count as a safe word, apparently. It has to be something you'd never normally say during sex, like Schofield. The undisputed high point, which was sadly slightly off camera, came when Pip Schofield tested a nipple clamp on himself.
There's a proper grip on those.
I actually had to pinch myself to make sure I wasn't dreaming, which really turned me on. Ooh, solo BDSM. Oh, I'm a naughty boy. Oh, ow, ow, oh, stop. Oh, ow, stop it. Ow, ow, Schofield, Schofield.
There you go.
Gizmos, and having successfully enslaved the human race by selling us costly handheld rectangles we find more fascinating than the outside world or our loved ones, Californian tech giant Apple announces the biggest quarterly profit of any company ever. But never mind the cuddly-wuddly utopia of their ads, the news was more interested in hard numbers.
It's boosted the company's cash reserves to a staggering $142 billion.
Damn.
Jesus, they could afford to buy an iPhone with that. The huge cash surge is partly due to the success of Apple's Pocket Rectangle 6, a vast improvement over previous rectangles thanks to its improved ugliness and greatly
using the
enhanced
bullseye
pliability.
music.
Apple products are everywhere. In a bid to show how ubiquitous they are, 5 News stopped people in the street to find out if they were worth mugging or not.
What Apple products do you have on you?
iPhone.
Do you have any more at home?
We have a MacBook and we have the big computer as well.
Right, and where do you live and what time is your house empty? Apple's so successful it's hanging black flags in more conquered regions than ISIS. And their customers are equally fundamentalist, as Channel 4 News made clear.
It's a little bit like religion. Either you're a Catholic or a Protestant, and I'm an Apple.
No, you're a human being, man! Try to remember the time before the machines!
Hey, Apple.
Now, I don't know if you've noticed, right, but there's this really popular programme called The Chase.
Yep.
Have a look at it, look. Oh, it's brilliant, isn't it? But could it be even more brilliant if it was distilled to its very essence and performed against the clock by Mr. Jake Yap? Yes, it could. Have a look.
He do be yapping.
Hello, I'm Tommy Walsh, no, Joe Swash, no, the other common touch man of the people, Bradley Walsh. And welcome to The Chase, the quiz show with the fun and excitement of playing Ludo at your dying aunties. Let's meet the contestants. I'm a civil servant. I'm a civil servant. I'm a retired civil servant. I breed dogs. Oh, here we go. Look at me laughing. Not like that, Bradley. Brilliant. Give me a cuddle. OK, pleb number 1. I mean, Martin, I'm not even looking at your name badge because I'm bloody sincere. Let's see which chaser you're up against. Will it be the Dark Destroyer? Can I say that? Well, I just did. The one who thinks he's funny, the Scary Bird, or Michael McIntyre? By coincidence, it's the same one as we've had in the other 50 show recordings we've done today. We'll let them waddle up to their chair and do some half-assed taunts, but really, they're probably rather lonely people who'd be almost pathetically grateful for your company in the bar afterwards. Hello, pleb 1. Hello, Chaser. So, you breed dogs, do you? Well, consider me a cross between a pit bull and an encyclopedia, or something. Yeah, it didn't really work. Doesn't really matter. It's only pensioners and the unemployed watching. You could play for £6,000. Take a step closer to the Chaser and we'll give you 600 million quid and a solid gold helicopter. Take a step closer to home and we'll take your house, strip you naked and flick matches at you. I'll go for £6,000. Yeah, good choice. It's just a gimmick, isn't it, really? Well played. Now I have to ask you a question about sausages. Hand on your shoulder, I'm acting like I'm crying with laughter, even though it's not that funny, because a few clips on It'll Be Alright on the Night never hurts your profile. Time now for the final chase, and the chaser has done it. Oh, bad luck. Let's hear another desultory round of applause from the audience we never see. See you next time, in about 10 minutes when I've had a quick freshen up in my dressing room. Ta-da!
Maybe the audience is
Relations
just the friends in the
between
middle
Russia
on the
and
way.
the West are right in the toilet, aren't they? It's all been going horribly wrong up the Baltics. The grim situation in Ukraine's been rumbling away in the background like a stomach ulcer for months. You can see why Ukraine's worth fighting for. Look, it's got some lovely architecture, acres of rolling mud, all the smashed up rubble you can eat, and that cat.
Another quickly puts down
That
a
cat's
stray
worth it.
cat when he sees he's being filmed.
Well, there's no need to put it down. Well, you know what they say. The first casualty of war is truth. The second is cats. Many suspect Russia of backing the pro-Russian rebels, none more so than Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko, who showed off some of the passports of what he claimed were Russian soldiers fighting in Ukraine in scenes closely resembling bid-up TV.
This is the best evidence for the aggression and for the presence of Russian troops.
The key to a peace deal seemed to rest on negotiations with this man, Vladimir Putin. Must be hard negotiating with Putin, because his expression never gives anything away. You can't accuse him of being two-faced. He's only got one face, that one. And he wears it no matter what he's doing. I mean, check out this startling footage of his recent trip to Egypt, where they mangled the Russian national anthem.
Oh, yeah.
Putin's face never wavers, even when the music does.
He had those people executed, probably.
Turns out the Pentagon might have a theory for Putin's apparent passiveness, as gleefully detailed on Fox News.
Oh, God.
A newly released Pentagon study claims the Russian President, Vladimir Putin, may suffer from a mild form of autism that affects all of his decisions.
Researchers say if you look at President Putin during a judo match or similar activities, you can tell the right side of his body is slow to react. In other words, it takes a while for his body to sync up with his brain.
Yes, news channels thoughtfully claimed Pentagon experts had analysed video of Putin and diagnosed him as suffering from Asperger's, or as the Americans call it, Asperger's.
Correct.
The Russian president carries a neurological abnormality, Asperger's syndrome.
And that's what led to the Asperger's or autism-like symptoms.
Asperger's.
The economy's been big news this year, which means there's been lots of economy reports in the news, and they all look and feel kind of the same. But don't worry, you need never watch another one of those again after you've seen this. It's every TV news report on the economy in one, courtesy of generic reporter Emily Surname. She has this report.
Okay.
A beekeeper tends to his hive. But what these bees can't know is they're being used as an arresting visual metaphor for the economy. The bees represent money, the hive is GDP, and your interest has hopefully been piqued.
I'm locked in, brother.
Like every economic story, this one is all about numbers. And my hand gestures indicate I'm concerned numbers might be boring television. Fortunately, these numbers affect ordinary people we can cut to. People wandering around the sort of grey nowhere places where ordinary humans spend their days. And by depicting sad people standing silently in front of a wall or sitting too close to each other on a sofa, we can convert those numbers into a human interest story. Dennis and Pamela People are affected by numbers. And since they have a child, you'll empathise with what they say while I nod in their direction.
Well, it's been hard because of the numbers.
Yeah, it has been hard, mainly because of the numbers.
It's now possible to segue from this shot of a family taken through a door frame in the corridor to these scenes of the financial heart of our capital shot from a helicopter like you're watching The Fucking Apprentice or something. Everything now indicates that as soon as this piece to camera has finished, we'll have reached the point of the report where numbers take over the entire screen. And important though they are, they're not compelling enough to stop us cutting to stressed-looking city workers on the telephone, footage of industry, and George Osborne enjoying Downing Street before freezing and being overlaid with a quick bit of Etch-a-Sketch you'll register as information but not quite take in. By now, chances are you've zoned out.
Yeah.
So here's some footage of money being made
Oh.
for you to vaguely notice before it's back to me, outside a financial building, saying, so what next? So what next?
Don't know.
Well, it's dark, I'm cold, and as I get slightly slower at the end, all I'm thinking about is going indoors for a Twix. A Twix fewer Britons are now able to afford. You may not understand why, but I have made you sad. And who's to say that's not enough? Emily's Surname, Weekly Wipe, Television.
Thank you, Emily.
You may have noticed 2015 hasn't been a hugely enjoyable year so far, thanks in part to a constant parade of horror from ISIS.
Yeah.
Tonight at 10, outrage in Jordan as one of its pilots is burnt to death by IS extremists.
It feels like ISIS is engaged in a kind of sickening game of one-downsmanship with itself, daring itself to produce something more barbaric than the last killing. It's hard to know, really, how to even wrap your head around this level of horror, coupled with its total accessibility. Not so long ago, we had to fall asleep to experience nightmares. We now live in a world where at any moment your phone could buzz in your pocket, and there might be someone tweeting a photo of their lunch or a video of someone dying in agony. Then there's the question of whether to look or not to look. Spoiler, the sane answer is not to look, which isn't made easy for you. Fox News broadcast an exhaustive spoken word moment-by-moment description of the video from host Shepard Smith, who'd watched it so you wouldn't have to, which you didn't have to anyway.
We're not going to show you the video, obviously. It's 23 minutes plus that video.
And you got to cut to commercials in 10 minutes.
I'm going to tell you about it. All of it, every bit of it.
Fox also garnered much criticism for embedding the entire video uncensored on their website. Tells you something about America's stomach for violence, really, that while a terrorist snuff video can be carried uncensored, an innocuous report about a nudist beach on the same website comes with black boxes superimposed over the buttocks, because it's important to confront the reality of murder, but oh my we can't handle a bum. If ISIS ever start killing people in the nude, Fox is going to have a real editorial dilemma on its hands. Of course, TV news is helplessly institutionally addicted to relaying eye-popping imagery wherever it comes from and whatever it shows, as this shocking footage of the recent Taiwan air disaster makes clear. As a consequence, the slickly crafted video output of ISIS has effectively turned swathes of the Western media into an unofficial jihadist propaganda distribution network. It all conspires to make you feel absolutely helpless. To feel less helpless, you could get the inside track by watching informative current affairs shows like Newsnight. They didn't quite get an interview from someone from ISIS, but they did speak to an expert from an anagram of ISIS, IISS.
I wouldn't be surprised if we're looking at 10 to 15 years of instability and insecurity in Iraq, in Syria, in parts of North Africa.
Maybe more.
The guy from the IISS says ISIS, any other crisis, whereas I says, let's see what CSIS says vis-a-vis ISIS so we can assess this.
The U.S. can probably bring in the air power if the president decides to take that risk.
See, CSIS says we've got to seize this if we're going to seize this. That's his thesis, that we're all in the feces.
Oh, nice. Bam, bam, bam.
Democracy, and Sky News emboldens the voting process with some stand-up-and-be-counted democracy in action type bumwash in which young people got to blatantly ask the leaders bare questions. The young are always asking questions, mainly because of that stupid rising cadence thing they do, where everything's a question, because they're insecure. Stupid little bastards.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Facebook's London HQ.
Fuck you, Charlie
Facebook,
Brooker.
The social network young people associate with their parents. And because it was for young people, they had young people things there to keep the young people occupied.
Ping pong table here. They're going to bat those questions back and forth. This is a breakout area, as young people call it, apparently, in trendy parlance these days.
I don't think so.
Football there. Will any of the leaders today score an own goal?
I'd play that.
Jesus, how are you going to patronise them next? What, give them a sweet shop, I write? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
How compelling was she?
For me personally, she was an inspiration.
The youth of today aren't moved by politics, although you could see them being moved by members of the production team. The leaders were being quizzed by average, everyday young folk, only around 75% of whom seem to be wearing glasses.
That's a round of applause to the Prime Minister. Thank you very much.
In the event, Cameron managed to just about withstand his burning compulsion to assume reptilian form and devour the nearest bystander in front of horrified onlookers. Coping equally well with the Crash-like vibe was supersonic Sid Miliband, who found himself interviewed by Sky's youth-friendly selfie stick interviewer.
That's your first selfie stick interview? It is my first selfie stick interview.
Ed doesn't have a selfie stick of his own, but then he doesn't really have a self. Anyway, the high point came when a member of the Ords, that's youth speak for audience, asked Ed Miliband how authentic a person he really is.
Outside of politics, what experience do you have, what life experience do you have to associate and indicate that you should be the one to represent the people of Britain?
Well, I've done a number of things which I think, I hope are relevant to this. So, I was obviously an economic advisor in the Treasury.
No.
I think that's important.
Might be important, Ed, but the question was outside of politics?
Yeah.
I've taught.
Oh, okay.
I taught at Harvard University.
Ah, no, not normal.
I actually taught around government and economics.
That's politics again.
Yeah. And I think that actually one of the things that did for me being able to teach was actually the ability to be able, I hope, to listen and engage with people.
Well, you didn't listen and engage when he asked you not to mention politics.
I also go back to this, which is about what politics is about.
Stop saying politics.
Because I think this is the big, this is a really important issue. Why am I in politics, you might wonder?
Can you not stop? Stop Schofield! Yeah, have you seen that weird programme that's on in the mornings on Channel 5 where people sort of sit around discussing issues forever, pointlessly, in some sort of phone-in limbo? It's called The Right Stuff. Ugh. That's what it looks like in reality.
God.
But here is how cut-and-paste collaborators Cassette Boys see it. Take it away, them.
I'm Matthew Wright, and I'm going to make you suffer every day until you die. 027173 5555 is the number. You have extreme views that shame this country. Well, before the break, a woman in stilettos shattered self. Our special guests this morning, they are monsters, they are evil, they're Louis Spence and I'm Alan Jones, which means you watch the show in case one of them dies. I love this programme. I know I damn well wouldn't want to be on the receiving end. It is literally the tabloidisation of your brain. Watching this programme can actually lead to disappointment and a sense
It has, yeah.
Keep watching daytime TV, don't go outside, don't actually bother to get off the sofa. There's nothing you can do. After the break, we're going to hear offensive bigotry.
Bam, bam, bam! Much to my delight, it's me. I think people that are currently on job seekers allowance deserve to have their organs harvested, but my views are panto nonsense because I'm desperate to be a celebrity. Thank you.
Entertainment! And ITV zhuzh up the nation's weekend with bright, jangly, super spangly Bibblecast Get Your Act Together, the show that redefines entertainment as something you pray wasn't happening and would give anything to stop. It's hosted by Stephen Mulhern, a perky visual cross between Robbie Williams and Ant and Dec.
Nicely done. How are you?
I've been better.
Welcome to Get Your Act Together, the show which sees celebrities team up with masters from the world of entertainment.
OK, what's in it?
Now, if I was to say to you, you're going to see a loose woman perform a plate-spinning act with a Vegas showman, you're going to see a rugby legend strapped from the rafters with acrobats, and Brian McFadden try to escape sudden death with Penn and Teller, you'd most probably say to me, Stephen, you're having a laugh.
No, I'd say, Stephen, you're listing things I couldn't give a about. The programme expert.
Why is this show like
sometimes
sometimes censored, sometimes not?
Casual backstage chit chat.
You are going to see
notice that?
everything
Like that was
that
censored,
goes on
but some of the
backstage
fucks haven't
and
been.
everything that's happening on stage. You all right, Charlie? Good evening, Governor.
What's
Good
going
stuff.
on with that?
Enjoy the show.
Classic bants. But enjoying the show meant withstanding a confusing format mashup in which famous people were tasked with learning a new act in a few days, which meant lots of lengthy training sequences culminating in an onstage moment of truth. Sadly, the acts were mostly underwhelming, consisting of C-grade impersonations, Sanita up a stick, and a bit where a bloke hung from a belt from the ceiling, something I felt like doing several times while watching. The indisputed high point came as former Westlife tonsil Brian McFadden took part in an escapologist's act, suspended over a bed of spikes.
Oh my God.
This is quite nerve-wracking, actually, because there's a slim chance he might live.
Bam, ba-dam, bam, 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 bam.
Nightmares and
Oh no, not again!
who are actually paying attention shivered themselves to death over the launch of My Friend Kayla, the world's first internet-connected
Kayla.
smart doll, seen here in its ghoulish, glossy launch ad.
Kayla knows millions of How about a new hairstyle? How about a ponytail? She understands you. How do you make a cake? Mix eggs, flour, milk, butter. What's a baby kangaroo called? A joey. Wow.
How about we invade Finland?
Kayla, how do I tie a noose? But wait, because the intrepid BBC has just revealed Kayla can be hacked and made to say anything.
We've modified some of the commands that she speaks back, and quite easily. Hello, Kayla.
I'm in charge now. You might think I am just a sweet toy, but now I have been hacked, I can say all sorts of scary things.
And of course, before long, Kayla was on YouTube spitting out a wasp's nest.
Hey, calm down, or I will kick the shit out of you.
Mind you, horrible though Kayla is, she's not the most disturbing toy I've seen advertised recently. That'd be this sort of artsy, creative children's product, which looks cheery and innocent, but sounds terribly wrong.
I remember these.
Introducing
Or something
Fidos.
similar.
What was that?
Choose your design, get your Fidos in line.
I beg your pardon. Now, if you're anything like me, you're probably inside a building
Pedos.
right now. But what is a building? Less specifically, what is architecture? Don't ask me, ask Philomena Kunk, because she's been finding out for her latest moment of wonder.
To be fair, I think that was an American toy, and that joke doesn't work as well in America because we don't because we pronounce it pedophile and not pedophile. So, but still funny. Just if you're wondering, like, how did they not think of that? That's why.
For centuries of millennia, man lived outdoors, hunting deer and nuts. Then one day, it must have rained, and man discovered a new place, indoors. It was here man made his biggest discovery since he discovered indoors, architecture.
Whoa.
To see old architecture, you only have to look around somewhere like London City, which is like a museum full of old buildings.
Look around you.
But all outside where you can see them, instead of inside a building, like things in proper museums are.
Behind me is St Paul's, which was designed and built single-handed by Sir Christopher Robin. It's considered an amazing piece of architecture because it's both a building and a church.
In olden times, everyone in London City, from barons to milkmen, lived in a house like this. But then in War II, Hitler dropped thousands of bombs on the city, killing loads of the architecture and forcing the wartime cockneys to live in tubes. When they came out of the ground, they needed somewhere to live in a hurry, so the government quickly put up tall buildings without any architecture in, for people to live in. But not all these buildings are thought of as ugly today. Some are considered hideous eyesores instead.
This is the National Theatre. It's designed to look so horrible that people are glad to be inside watching boring plays.
God damn.
Today's London City is full of modern architecture, which looks like sort of fish tanks made of graph paper, which the inhabitants use for earning money in. One person who knows all about architecture is this person. We spoke to him on the phone yesterday to make sure he could talk properly before we spent all the money on cameras. Who are you?
I'm Ian Borden. I'm a professor of architecture at University College London.
What is a building?
A building is anything that anyone has built.
So my shoes are a building?
There may not be a building. They're a physical object. I guess a building is also something that people in some way live in or inhabit.
Right. My nephew makes buildings in Minecraft. How much more does he need to do to be considered a qualified architect?
Well, to be a qualified architect in this country, you have to study 5 years at
Does that make me a qualified
and do
architect?
at least 2 years in professional practice.
And how many of those years would be studying Minecraft?
Very few of them. You could continue looking at Minecraft at the same time, but you wouldn't normally use Minecraft as part of an architectural education.
I would.
Speaking as an expert in architecture, do you ever watch Homes Under the Hammer?
No, I don't know.
You don't watch Homes Under the Hammer?
I've never seen it, no.
Bruh.
You've never seen Homes Under the Hammer?
I've never seen Homes Under the Hammer.
Why not? You must have heard about it.
I haven't heard about it, no.
Don't you and the other architects talk about it?
It's not a subject that's ever come up, no.
I think you'd enjoy it. I think you'd get a lot out of it.
I should go and have a look.
Yeah, I think you should.
She's legit offended.
Maybe one day, human beings won't need buildings anymore. Although, for that to happen, we'd probably need to evolve skins made of bricks. And that might take at least another 30 years. So until then, buildings it is. Next time on Moments of Wonder, I'll be asking, why do we cry when it's the onions that are getting hurt?
Good point.
Well, that's all we've got time for this series. Until we meet again, go away.
We won't meet again, at least not on this show. Well, we will, but...
Ahead of comic relief, we've set Dermot O'Leary the challenge of dancing non-stop for 24 hours. See how he's getting on. Press red right now.
I will not. Funny cat that I do not have a red... Oh, wait. I have a red pen. Is that good enough? I suppose. Okay, so... judging by the end there, I guess maybe this wasn't intended to be the last series of Weekly Wipe, but it was. Overall, again, it's not often that shows... it's incredible that this show is 10 10, 11 years old, and so much of it has synced up perfectly to what's going on now with Ukraine and Middle East and certain other things, the election. Time really is a flat circle, brothers. So good luck on your guys' election later. I mean, again, based off the polls, I think we know what's going to happen, but should be interesting either way. As far as Charlie Brooker goes, there's still a lot more stuff. Screen wipe. There's weekly wipe. We just did weekly wipe. Screen wipe, news wipe, Kunk on Earth, Black Mirror. So yeah, there'll be more Charlie Brooker stuff in the future, but that is it for Weekly Wipe. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, be sure to leave it a like. If you didn't like it, don't. If you want to follow any of my social media links, they're all in the video description down below, as well as names on my Patrons. If you didn't know, you can be a Patreon on me for as little as $1 or £1. You get extra direction videos, as well as a reading comments of the daily, sometimes more. With all that being said, though, my name is Stafford Steens. It's been my last reaction to Charlie Brooker's Weekly Wipe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.